Hi, and welcome to Once Upon a Nightmare. I'm your host, Amy Metcalf.
And I'm your other host, Ashley Dory, and welcome to today's nightmare.
So tonight we will be discussing children and stories of reincarnation. So sit back,
grab your snacks,
and let's get to it. Just so you know, there is going to be a trigger warning of obviously death and killing and
violent death.
Yeah, violent death. Yeah, that's basically it. If that makes you a little uncomfortable, you can either skim past some parts or I don't know.
Join us next week for a different topic.
Exactly. Hopefully.
Fingers crossed.
So yeah, both of us gathered some stories off of the internet of reincarnation in children, like you know how children are very perceptive little
nothing creepier
beings.
Than kids. Nothing.
Right? So like, I love kids, like they're great in some aspects, but in a lot of aspects they're really weird. Sorry, I'm reaching.
Kids, they say the darndest things. They
keep you on your toes for real.
Kids are creepy. Kids are just straight up creepy. Like you look at your favorite movie there, Missy Momo, with your Children of the Corn.
Children of the Corn.
Kids are creepy.
Oh, they were so cute though. No,
well, look at Poltergeist. Kids are creepy. Just notorious. You see it, you don't want to run into like a kid in the hallway in the middle of the night, or you don't want to wake up to one just inches away from your face going,
I definitely don't want children's laughter when you're home alone at night.
I have stories about we'll get to
I think that's for
you will get to that. I got some stories, girl.
So do you want to go first or?
Yeah, because I think most of my stories are kind of short, unless you want to go for one and then you can just finish off. That's up to you. However you wish to proceed.
For one. Okay. Should I go first?
If you want to.
Okay.
Yeah. Please proceed.
So this one actually came with like a little picture, which I'll post on our Instagram so everybody can see. It's of the boy and who he claimed he was back in the day, and he looks so similar. Like I'd show you on my tablet, but like the lighting and everything would be off, so
wouldn't look very nice.
So I'll definitely post that to our Instagram, so definitely go there and check it out and like it.
Yes.
And while you follow us, the link will be in the description. So James Leninger, who lives in Louisiana, was just 2.5 years old when he started talking about his vivid dreams and strong memories of being a man called Lieutenant James McCready. And also like the whole James and James thing. I think that's weird when sometimes like I've seen other stories where like kids will have the same name as they had when they were their other selves that they talk about, you know,
their previous self.
Yeah. And 2.5, like that's crazy that he's already like, although it's usually between, I think 2 and 5 that they start talking about this stuff. So anyways, I think that's what I saw.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. So Lieutenant James McCready Huston or Houston, it's Huston. He went on to say that he had been a World War II fighter pilot from Uniontown, Pennsylvania, who had been killed in Iwo Jima more than 50 years before.
That's very specific too.
Right? And what 2.5-year-old knows about World War II?
Hiroshima.
Iwo Jima, Pennsylvania. At the tender age of 2, the boy began talking about aviation, and his knowledge of the subject was amazing. He hadn't learned it from his parents, as they knew nothing of flying or being in the Air Force. James started having nightmares about being shot down by a Japanese plane with a red sun on the side. The child's parents began to study the subject, and to their astonishment, they realized that something very extraordinary was happening. There was no way James could have known this amazingly true information. His nightmare started after his father had taken him to the Dallas Flight Museum. but there was nothing there that would or could have started these amazing revelations. Andrea recalled how James would scream at the top of his voice, "Airplane crash, on fire, can't get out, help." And he would be kicking and pointing to the ceiling. At one stage, when Andrea took James shopping, she pointed out a plane in a shop window. "Look," she said, "it has a bomb at the bottom." She was astounded to hear her 2.5-year-old state, "That's not a bomb, that's a drop tank." Andrea had no idea what on earth a drop tank was. He went on to tell his bemused parents that he had flown a plane called a Corsair, which took off from a boat called the Natoma. And when his parents served him up some meatloaf for lunch, which he had never eaten before that day, he said, "Meatloaf, I haven't had that since I was on the Natoma." Isn't that wild?
How? Like, it's in such detail. Like
Yeah.
knowing a city's name at 2.5 years old.
And a Japanese city at that, when they're from Pennsylvania. Like, it'd be different if it was like a little kid from around the area of Japanese. I mean, Japan. Sorry. I had a nap before this.
She's not quite awake yet.
No.
But no, the detailing is amazing. And then the fact that the parents could like fact check everything he was saying and it was all true.
Yeah, exactly. So like it goes into researching James's story. So Bruce, who is James's father, decided to do some research of his own. He discovered that there had been a small escort carrier called the Natoma Bay, which had been in the Battle of Iwo Jima. Further research proved that there had indeed been a pilot called James Huston. His plane had indeed been hit by a Japanese fire and was struck in the engine. This was on March 3rd, 1945.
What?
Yeah.
No freaking way.
And in a further twist to the story, Huston's sister, Anne Barron, who was now 87 years old, was tracked down. She stated that after listening to little James's story, she totally believed him. He knows too many things. For some reason, he knows what happened. Huston's cousin Bob, now 74 years old, also had this to say. "To me, it's amazing. Everything the boy has said is exactly the account told to James Huston's father and also my mother. There's no way this child could have known that." When James was 6 years old in 2004, his father took him to a reunion of veterans who had served on the Natoma. When he was there, James was able to recognize one of his old mates after 60 years. His parents stood in awe as he stated, "They're so old." I have like goosebumps, like literal goosebumps reading those last two paragraphs. Like,
that's pretty amazing. Like, how do you recognize
someone 60 years later?
Right? That
like, can you
that brings up the whole like topic of like souls signing contracts to experience human.
Yes.
And then, like, remember, because usually you don't remember, right?
No.
So,
and a lot of kids, like when I was looking up stories, I saw a lot of that where like a child was like, "Yeah, I was with my other mom and then I saw you and I wanted you to be my next mother." And he ended up being like the next mother. Or like, "I was up with God and I looked down and I saw you and I chose you," and all this other stuff.
That okay, so this wasn't one of the stories that I had come across it, and it was of a girl who her son said, "I remember when I was older and you were little and we used to dance in the kitchen together." And she goes, "The only person that I used to dance in the kitchen with when I was a kid was my grandfather." So
I'm such a baby.
Notable mention. But I think I've got a good one. You mentioned other mother.
Ooh, okay, I'm ready.
This one, you're going to see me looking up. That's just at another screen right here. I'm just reading it off. This one comes from Thoughts Catalog. Her other mother's name was Sally. I was talking to my 4-year-old when she began to freak me out. She was telling me a story about her other mother and that she died a long time ago on a Thursday. I tried to brush it off, whatever. She's a kid and they have wild imaginations. But then she started to go further into detail about the death of her other mother, whose name was apparently Sally. She's never met anyone named Sally, and I can't recall any shows on TV she watches where Sally is a character. She told me that she was playing with her father's gun that she found and accidentally shot and killed Sally while she was walking upstairs.
Oh no.
Yeah. It's pretty it's pretty weird. There are no guns in this house. I haven't even really told her what guns are all about and how they can hurt or kill someone. She's only 4. I think I'm beginning to understand now why when I try to tell her when someone dies, they go away forever. She tells me that that's not true. We come back, Mommy. I'm only 23. I had my daughter very young, despite not being prepared. I don't think I could have ever prepared for a conversation like that.
I don't think anybody can be prepared. There are a lot of things in this world that we're like, oh, you'll understand when you're older. Listen, I am not prepared for any of this, and I'm going to be 33.
How would you even react to your child looking at you and saying, yeah, I remember my other mom, Sally. I accidentally killed her with my dad's gun. Like, right?
I have no words. Like, I can't even think of anything to say. And like, I'm a social worker. So like
there would be nothing, not a damn thing that you could say in that situation to be like,
yeah, like, oh, that's too bad. Oh,
that's nice, honey. I'm glad you've got such a great imagination.
Would you like some Kraft dinner now?
Can I make you a peanut butter sandwich? Are you hungry? Do you need a snack? Please stop talking.
Oh my gosh, that is scary.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah.
And for a 4-year-old to remember shooting their other mother who they love so much, probably in that other life, like, I can't imagine that.
Well, the thing that gets me is it's very specific that she shot and killed her on a Thursday. The fact that she remembers it was a Thursday that it happened. Like, you could probably go back even through newspapers just looking for dates and find something on a Thursday.
Yeah, but it depends on like when it happened, because like, even though she says it was on a Thursday, like, guns have been around for how long now, and like, you can accidentally shoot anybody in any time, and it happens
for legal reasons. Please don't shoot anybody.
That, you know what I mean? Like, but
yeah. Oh yeah. I don't think I could have handled that.
No, good on her. I don't know how she handled it either, but like, man, I think I know, like, you have to kind of like let them know that you believe them and like help them try to figure it out, because I don't know, maybe like the spirit of their past life needs to kind of like move on or whatever. Like, past lives is so like not as well known. Like, I know there's psychologists and that doing research on it, but I
noticed a lot of stuff with the kids is that they would start talking about it and then their parents would just kind of like let it go, and the kids would just kind of eventually forget.
Yeah.
So is it just maybe we're like, they're so young that they still remember their past life? You know what I mean? Or is it just that it's so weird to think about? Because if you go on based on the whole like soul contract thing, like you're signing your soul contract to, experience, and then there's the whole, the harder your life is, the more pro level your soul, like the higher up your soul is, that whole gimmick, right?
We must have a really high soul life.
I got a mature soul. It's been around for a long time.
Apparently, yeah.
It has wanted to experience some stuff.
It needs vacation next life.
It's just going to sit the next one out. I'm just going to sit the next life out. I'm going to wait it out. Oh my word.
All right.
What's the next
So
one? Let's hear it.
this one is about Cameron McCulley. He lived his whole life in Glasgow, Scotland. But ever since he started talking at the age of 2, he has been telling his family about his previous life on the island of Barra, which is situated off the west coast of Scotland. Cameron lives with his mother, Norma, and he started talking about a white house that overlooked the sea and the beach. And he went on to explain how there were airplanes that used to land on the beach, and also that he was very fond of a black and white dog he'd had whilst he was there. The family had never been to Barra, as it was over 200 miles away from where they lived. To get there, it would take them an hour by plane or longer by sea. His dad on the island was called Shane Robertson, who evidently died by being knocked over by a car. Cameron's actual words were, "He didn't look both ways."
Ew. Ew.
That is crazy.
Ew.
One of the strangest subjects was the toilets. He used to keep complaining that on Barra, his parents had 3 toilets. He also spent ages drawing his old house, a long white building standing on the beach. He would sit on his chair talking about his parents and brothers and sisters, and as time went on, he got more and more upset about leaving his other mother. He would cry continuously and say that he wished his mother could see that he was all right. Aww.
That's sad.
The story soon came to the attention of a film company, and after listening to his story, his nursery school teacher suggested that maybe they should film him and go to the island. So, yeah, that's basically it. They do go to the island, and they were escorted by Dr. Jim Tucker, who is known for studying reincarnation in children. And I think they meet. Sorry, I almost dropped it, so it moved on me. So upon reaching the island, they were astonished to find that they had indeed landed on the beach. Cameron started to run around yelling, "I'm back." That's cute. Chattering away about his Barra mother, he told everyone that she had long brown hair that fell all the way down her back and that she read him stories from the Bible. Cameron's mother stated that they were not particularly religious and had never done this at home. They soon booked into a hotel and started to search for clues to Cameron's past. After contacting the Heritage Center to find out about the house, they were unable to find records about any house being owned by the Robertson family overlooking the bay. To say they were disappointed would be an understatement. They drove around the island looking for the house, but couldn't even see one that resembled Cameron's description. When they realized that they were looking in the wrong direction, the planes that Cameron saw would be coming in from the wrong side of the bay. They realized that if Cameron saw them from his bedroom window, they had to be going the other way. Eventually, the hotel phoned them and told them that yes, there was a Robertson family home on the other side of the island. So they started to drive Cameron there. They didn't tell him where they were going, but when they arrived, Cameron jumped out of the car and ran straight to the house. He knew it immediately. But as he walked through the door, he began to get very pale and quiet. Up until now, he had recognized the exact gate at the front. He knew where to go and was so excited. But upon entering the house, he stood to one side, slightly uncertain. Then he took off running around the house, pointing at all the rooms where he had lived. He showed them all the nooks and crannies and the 3 toilets. Much to his mother's surprise, when they went into the garden, he took them to a secret entrance that he had been talking about for years. Almost sounds like a secret garden.
Kind of a little bit, eh?
That was also one of my favorite movies, by the way, and books.
That was a good one.
The strangest part of the story comes about when the researchers managed to find one of the surviving Robertson family members. In most of the reports, they don't state whether this is a man or a woman. I believe in the video, it says it was a woman. Unfortunately, the relative in question seemed to know nothing about a man called Shane Robertson. But even stranger was the fact that his family, now living in Stirling, had photos of the dog and the car that Cameron had seen in his videos. Why was this, I wonder? So, yeah, so I guess the person, they're not sure if it was like a sister who, or a cousin or whatever, that was born after the fact that he had died, and just doesn't know anything about him, which is sad. Like, he has no answer for his stuff, yet there is still evidence of him knowing.
Well,
And
clearly he showed them the house and had like a secret passage that nobody else knew about.
there were photos of like the dog in the car.
Yeah, how can he, as a child,
Yeah.
know where all this stuff is in a wow. Yeah, stutter, where all this stuff is in a house that he's never even been in.
Yeah, no, exactly. And so I like, nobody's really certain, and a lot of people don't really know a lot about their family tree, especially nowadays. Like,
Yeah.
and it sucks, like nobody keeps up with it anymore. I remember my godmother always sitting around and doing her family tree, so she would know every single person in her family if somebody ever was like, hey, like, I
Help
used
me
to
out
be
here.
you
I
know
got a new
so
boyfriend, Grandma. Am I related to him? Very
right.
important to know, people. Very important
It,
to know.
that's what scares me about adoption, but that's another story for another day.
My next one is still fairly short. It's not very long, but still very, very, very good. This one comes from Reddit. Hold on, let me get my voice ready. My at the time 5-year-old son, now 31, woke up one day and asked me, "Where's Banjo? When are we going to go look for him?" I was shocked. Banjo was the name of our family dog, a bull terrier that we had on the farm when I was still a preteen. One day there was a flash flood in our area, Uppington, South Africa, and my little brother was stuck in the middle of a raging orange river on a rock. Banjo jumped in the water. He loved swimming, to rescue my brother, but he got swept away by a powerful current and we never saw him again. My brother had to stay on that rock for a full 19 hours before the water was safe enough for a boat to cross to get to him. My brother was distraught about our dog having been presumably killed by the flood. Only 2 years after that, my brother was killed while cycling when a speeding vehicle hit him from behind. I've never told my son about Banjo. There's no way he could have known that name. My son has been acting in ways that remind me of my deceased brother. They have the same favorite color. They like the same food. They both like to sing. I can't help but think that the soul of my brother migrated into my son somehow.
Aww. See, that is so sweet.
I,
That's
but I couldn't.
very scary though. It is very scary because like it's another thing that is like, how does this world work? Like,
How does it all really go down? What
and
happened?
that's what scares me about like dying and death. Like,
I have a whole thing about death. If we start talking about that, we'll spiral.
oh yeah. I don't know if our devices can hold that much recording.
I got issues. I got issues.
Me too.
But
Cheers to that.
the fact that her son is almost very much the same as her brother, and she's finding all these little, I mean, I'm guessing that her brother died since that was her preteens. He died in her teenage years and would have been long before she had her son.
Yeah.
Presumably. I mean, I'm not, making assumptions. She could have been a young mother, but her son's now 31. He was 5 at the time. Yeah. But that would bring back a lot for me, I think, to hear my child say my dog's name that got swept away by a raging current in a river, never to be seen again. And then my brother, also the memory of my brother, like that would be a lot.
That would be, I feel like it would bring a lot of trauma. And that's another reason, like, how would you react to that? Especially when it's another family member that you know, and that you loved dearly, and
And
not
it's almost like, well, it would almost be like, because I joke around with my dog. Story time. My dog has these brown eyes, and she's weird. It's weird. It's almost like she understands you when you talk to her. And whenever I'm alone in the house, she'll follow me around, and I always talk to her like I do, just she's another human being. I vent to her, I complain to her, I bitch and moan and everything else to the dog because she can't say anything back to me. And it was actually this week, and I was researching the reincarnation stories from kids, and she I was talking to the dog, and she just happened to look at me, and I went, you have kind of the same eyes that my mom has.
yeah.
And then I was sitting there, I was like, Mom? And the dog's ears perked up, and I was like, oh hell no, we are not touching this subject tonight.
Yeah, because like a lot of the time, like like you never know, like they could come as an animal or whatever you need at the time, right? Like,
yeah, but then when you stop and think about it, that's even creepier, because like, why are you watching me get naked, Mom? I have
why do you follow me to the bathroom to watch me pee?
I'm really okay. I promise you, I can wipe on my own. I'm 33, Mom. I've got this.
You trained me well. I hope.
I'm clean.
Oh my goodness. Okay, that one I'm gonna. So I have 3 other ones. These ones are shorter than the other 2. So I'm gonna. Do you have any more, or
I have one more, and it's actually it's short too. So
okay, so I'll read one, and then you can read that one, and then I'll read the last 2 that I have.
Perfect.
Okay. So when this woman's daughter was 2 years old, she said that in another life, she was a ballerina who died in a fire. Now, afterward, she floated into the sky and saw her new mom waiting for her. Upon further research, the woman discovered that many ballerinas in the past had died in fires because their costumes were highly flammable, especially near the gas lighting on stage. It seems to have cut some of it out, but
ballerinas went up in flames. Okay.
Yeah, so near the gaslighting on stage. So, and then she saw her daughter scraping the bottom of her ballerina shoes, and she asked her why she was doing that. And she said, I would do it every time before in my other life when I was a ballerina so that I won't slide and fall.
How would a kid know that a ballerina does that to their shoes?
Yeah, exactly. Especially when they're a kid. Like, you learn that as you become a pro, I would assume. I'm not a ballerina, so I don't know.
I'm guessing that would be like a trick that you would learn in dance school, right?
Yeah, to kind of give grip. Because like, I can imagine like ballerina shoes are very slippery otherwise. They must be.
They would have to, especially on a stage.
Not a ballerina.
If there's any ballerinas watching, please comment below. Let us know why you do that to your shoes.
And if you still do it, like, or is this an older thing before now? Because they could be different now. I don't know. But yeah, so if you want to move on to yours.
Ballerinas going up in flames, man. That's
sucks. Imagine being wanting to be a ballerina.
Just dancing and then like twirling around.
Yeah, but imagine wanting to be a ballerina so bad, but yet having the knowledge that I could die in a fire because my costume is flammable.
If I dance too close to an open flame, I might go poof. I don't think I would want to be a ballerina.
Nope. No cracker for me.
My last story comes from Reddit again. And it's a little more it's a little gruesome. Darker. It's a little darker, it's a little more gruesome. It's I think this would take me very, very back as a parent. I'm putting that out there. Yeah, there's no other way to get into this than to get into it. So at age 5, my parents bought me one of those toy police cars, and I spent a little while playing in it, but apparently didn't seem happy. My parents asked why I didn't seem to be liking it, and I apparently told them I don't like it because I remember being stabbed inside a car like this before I came here. He said my skin was black then, though.
Ooh.
They said they were a bit taken aback by this and just didn't speak any more about it. I take it from how they speak about it that to them this seemed pretty weird. And I
Well,
understood that because it makes me feel weird as well. Out of curiosity, I thought I'd Google and try and find if any police officers died from stab wounds around the time I was born. Uh, Now, I was born in the UK in 1996. I'm sure that many police officers die in the line of duty each year, but one did stand out. In 1996, the year when I was born, they had one registered police death. The officer was black and died after being stabbed to death in his own patrol car.
oh no. That's sad.
Yeah. So, I mean, he did kind of find exactly what he said happened to him in his past life. And I think his
Mhm.
soul must have just went from one to another, and it was fresh. It was a fresh memory.
That's crazy. I feel like, okay, here's a story time for me. So when I was younger, I had this dream a few times, but it's stuck in my brain all the way up until now. Now it's not like when I don't know if I ever really talked much about it to my mom after, but I was really young and I had this dream where I was in a car or a van. I feel like it was a van, and I was in a car seat. I had wild curly hair. Now, when I was a kid, I did not have wild curly hair. I had like straight wavy-ish hair.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure this is just caused by my mom cutting it short a lot. Um, and next to me was what felt in the dream was my sister, and then the passenger was my mom, and my dad was driving. And I remember just like looking over at my sister, then at my mom, and then just like bam, and nothing.
You think you maybe were in a car accident when you were in your other
Yeah,
life, or at least one of your lives?
yeah, and it would have had to have been before I was born or the same year I was born. And I think I tried looking, but like again, like it's hard to know where to look because I don't know if it was in Canada, if it was in, it would have to be in an area where we drive on the right, yeah, right side.
Right side of the road.
Yeah, we drive.
No, left side.
No, we drive on the right.
We drive on the right. Yeah.
Because I was behind my dad who was on the left side.
Yes.
So yes.
Yes.
So it'd have to be somewhere that was on the
Canada
right side.
or the States
here,
or
yeah, here, the States. I don't know where else because I don't go very far.
I went to a psychic once. Well, a couple times I went to a psychic, and the first time I went, we did a little bit of past life regression, just because I had some curiosity I wanted to see. She said that I was for sure a witch during the Salem witch trials, and that I was one that was put to death for my crimes.
Tisk.
Go figure. Go figure. That would be me. Just nah, killer.
You wouldn't. Yeah, you wouldn't care. You'd be like, "Yeah, I'm a witch. What you gonna do about it? Oh, you're gonna burn me."
Oh shit. Well, here we go with the dunking again, I guess. and then what was the other one? I was a little Russian boy. But I ended up dying because I got the plague.
Oh,
Or something
no.
like that. Not was it the plague or some sort of like disease before modern medicine was available to everybody.
Which it could have been just the common cold, just
It could have been, but I died as a very, very, very young Russian boy, apparently.
oh. I want to kind of do that. I want to like know what kind of past lives I've had.
We should get a psychic on our podcast at some point.
Ooh, yeah. That'd be great.
Yes, I think that way we should aim for that.
We'll do it. We'll do the research.
Yes.
That's for another. If you would really like to see that, like, subscribe.
Don't forget to click that bell for notifications.
And go to our Facebook as well, just to keep and TikTok, just to keep updated, and if that's gonna end up being an episode.
You never know.
I think that would be really interesting.
That would be a really cool episode. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah.
Anyway, you have stories. Let's hear your stories.
So there was this one. This woman's son once came home from school with a stack of drawings. When she asked about one of the pictures, he explained that it was from when you and I were twins. He added that he knew that she was supposed to be a twin, but her sibling did not survive birth, and he became her son so they could be together again. She had never told her son that her mother had miscarried her twin so many years ago.
What?
That wild. I saw it and I was like, that is crazy.
That just completely reiterates the whole soul contract.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Like, he's like, I missed you so much that I wanted to be with you again. You know, like, that is love right there. That is soul love.
Well, they say that when you're signing your soul contract, you agree to all the people that you meet in your life. So even the bad people, you've already agreed to that situation happening. Because that's what your soul needed to experience. It's what it signed up for, right? Still fucked up. It's still real messed up.
It is.
And it amazes me how some kids remember and other kids have no idea about what happened to them previously.
Or they could just be new souls.
That's very true too.
Because like there are newer souls all the time, I'm sure.
There must souls get recycled. Like eventually a soul gets so tired and old that it just
reincarnates.
That makes me sad. That is a really sad thought, because if that's the truth, right? And we are experiencing, and the harder your life is, the more experienced your soul is. What happens when your soul has no more experiences? Do you just go to like where you've met all these other souls and you just join together, or
well,
like a heaven, not a heaven, but like an afterlife for the afterlife, like a soul party for the souls.
Who knows?
Soul
because
train.
Honestly, before us, it would have been different humanoid beings that aren't related to us other than Neanderthals. And even then, I don't think it's as close of connection. So like their souls could be totally different, and maybe they recycle into ours eventually. I don't know. That's
a screwed up thought, isn't it? It's one that messes with your head.
Broke my brain, to be quite honest.
I didn't mean to break your brain.
Come on. It's Friday. I've worked all
I'm tired. Let me be.
Woke up like an hour ago. But
I napped. Leave me alone.
So now this is kind of like what I was telling you about before. Now I went to go to the TikTok because I saw this originally on TikTok, and when I found it on the BuzzFeed article that I found this in, the links to the videos have been taken down, so I can't get all the information, and I don't remember it all because it was so long ago. But here's a synopsis of like what to expect, and it was crazy. And the fact that it's like gone now off of TikTok kind of scares me, and I don't know.
Well, I mean, it could have been
well,
TikTok's
listen to
a funny place
before we come to any conclusions. Okay.
All right.
So this woman says that is Oh, as a little boy, her son told her a bizarre and very detailed story about previously living on Saturn.
Okay.
He said that he had 3 children and worked in a very tall building filled with vehicles that helped evacuate people to Earth. She checked all the movies and TV shows her son had watched to see if he was making it up and couldn't find anything remotely similar. Now, I think this was more like way before, and that the reason he was helping evacuate people to Earth was because it was being destroyed or something. I can't remember all the details. There was like
So like we
6
lived on
parts.
an original planet that got destroyed, so we had to be evacuated from that planet to Earth.
Yeah. Well, think about it. We're destroying our planet and we're looking for other places for us to live in our solar system, right? So it could be a possibility that before it could have been a viable planet, because they do say that at some point there had to have been some oh no, that's Venus, not Saturn. There was some viability in Venus. But so who knows what happened with these other planets years before Earth started developing its livelihood and all its life.
Yeah, but how did we have the technology to leave that planet and get to Earth when we don't have the technology to leave Earth and get to another planet
yet?
Okay, but where did the technology come from before, and why have we not been able to perfect it since?
Okay, but because their souls are probably dead by now. Like
the dead and gone. God, Ashley.
I don't know. Okay, I just know it was a
weird
story, we go. Different from all the other ones that I have ever seen.
I'm blurry.
Needs attention.
There's no other faces in here.
Yeah, I go to the other side a little bit, see if that helps. Oh, something.
Did it make it worse? Oh, I almost had it. You get to see this live. There you go. Get to see what it's all about.
It's not sure.
We'll give it a minute. It might fix itself.
Yeah, we can't sit here in silence.
No, cannot do that. See, there we go. I told you it would fix itself.
But again, we don't know what happened before our civilization. How we don't even know what happened like 100 years ago in reality, because everybody from that time is dead, and all we know is what is in the books, and now different things are coming out as
well. Those people are dead, but they could be us. We just don't know it. If we're going
by reincarnation.
Yeah,
obviously. Like I totally believe in reincarnation. So like and it could possibly be because I don't want there to be an end to my life, which is very
well. Did you see that study? There was a doctor that did a study, and I'll have to find the article that it was in so that I can quote it. But he pretty much was weighing people as they were dying.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. Yeah,
and
yeah.
Everybody had a 0.6 weight difference after they died.
Minutes of them dying, like
0.6, like a very specific number for everybody.
Yeah. So yeah, I remember that because I don't know where I'm from, but I do remember that.
Mm-hmm.
But so there's so many things that could have happened many years ago, especially before Earth became planet. We don't know what's happened to the other planets because they do say there had to have been some sort of viable life on Venus at one point, and now there's nothing. It's like total toxic desert, you know,
just total devastation.
Yeah. So it all depends, and also, why would a kid say that?
True.
I don't know.
Because kids are weird.
They say that you can tell when a child is lying about something in some cases when it comes to stuff like this, but there are there are things that are hard to make up, especially when you're a child and you don't know much about certain things.
You don't know much
Right.
about life. Well, at least you're not
No,
supposed to anyway.
I don't think any of us are supposed to.
We're all just guessing at this point. We're doing our best, you guys.
Listen, prize, like, I'm taking care of myself somehow.
Oh my gosh. Well, that is going to be the end of our episode for today. If you have any suggestions, you can email us. It's going to be linked in the description. I can also tell you here, once upon a nightmare podcast at hotmail.com. Don't be afraid to email gmail.com. I got Hotmail in my head today.
What is this, like early 2000s?
Oh, maybe.
I don't know.
Coming back.
Still?
What?
Do people even have Hotmail still?
I do.
Like, I have one, but I don't use it.
I use mine for like everything. It's my main email.
Really? It's not the one you gave me.
Oh, never mind.
You gave me the live. So yeah, you can also check out our Facebook page for updates as we post. And we may post polls. Obviously, we talked about, like, we might post about whether we're going to get a psychic on, and also keep up with our TikTok and our Instagram. We will post reels and we will post TikToks throughout the week. I think we're going to try and get a little more engagement that way. And it will also give hints as to what is going to happen in the next episode. So if you want to kind of get an idea of what we're going to talk about, I would suggest checking those out. Like, subscribe to everything we have.
Follow, click that bell, do everything.
And we are also thinking of starting a Patreon soon. I have it kind of set up. I just don't know when we're going to launch it. So it's in works. Everything is in works, guys. And it would be really nice if we could
do it.
Yeah, exactly. So also, if you would like to donate at this point in time, we do have our PayPal in our link tree, which will be in the description on any of our socials and any of our platforms that we are posting on.
So we will see you guys next week with our next nightmare.
Yeah. All right.
Bye.